Okay, so let's wrap up chapter 2. And so just a little review. When we want to basically convert, let's say, an int to a double or a double to an int, we use something called casting. And that's where we put the parentheses of that data type that we want to cast to in front of the actual variable. So I can say, let's say some int variable is equal to int and then a double variable. So it basically it converts a double to an int and so on and so forth. But what if we have a string variable? Can I convert a string into a numeric, to a primitive? I sure can. And there we call it parsing. I can use a parse at that point. So if we take a look at the payroll dialog class, and we take a look at the method main. I'm going to get more detail of the classes and the methods as we get into chapter 3. So just kind of go with the flow at this point, and just use the method main. Anyways, so here I'm basically saying I have a string called input string. String name, int hours, double pay, double gross pay. So I got the string variable and I'm using the J option, so I'm using the dialog boxes as input. What is your name? And then I say input string is equal to dialog box. How many hours did you work this week? Now I've got a input string and I'm asking for numeric data. Hours is an int. I make that. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Let me back up. So here I've got my input string. It's a string data type. Here I'm saying hours, which is an int, is equal to integer.parseInt. You notice integer in this case is an uppercase. So I'm saying I want to convert this to an integer data type dot parseInt and then input string. So I'm parsing a string, converting it to an integer, and put it into this data type called hours. So I say the actual primitive data type with an uppercase and I spell it all the way out. In this case it's an integer.parseInt. Now again, if I type behind the period and I do a control space, it's going to show me all the different parameters that are available to me, and parseInt is one of those, and it's expecting a string. I put that in the data. So here I've taken a string data type, converted it to an integer, and thrown it into hours. And then I basically do pay rate, double. Okay, so same thing as there. So this time I'm saying take the input string and let's basically convert it to a double. So I've got the word double spelled out, uppercase D, dot parse double. So this converts the string into a double and puts it into pay rate. So here's what's nice about this is I use the input string to get the hours. I convert it to an integer data type. I then use the same input string to get the pay rate, and I convert that into a double pay rate. And then basically I do the calculation right here, hours times pay rate, and again I do my system.exit 0 to get out. Okay, so what's nice about this is I can convert ints to doubles, doubles to ints, and I can actually convert strings into integers, doubles, floats, whatever the case may be. Now, to convert the other way from a numeric to a string is really easy, where there's really no special way to do anything. You can actually just say print that guy out and it converts it into a particular string. It's not really that big of a deal. On page 99 it talks about common errors to avoid. Make sure you don't mismatch your braces, because you got to have a beginning brace and an ending brace. So that's basically what this is. This is a beginning brace. We better have a matching ending brace. Misspelled keywords like double. Make sure you don't misspell those. Using capital letters in the keywords. Using a keyword as a variable name. You can't use double as a variable name. Use an inconsistent spelling of variable names. Using inconsistent case of letters in variable names. Insert a space into a variable name. Big no-no there. Forgetting the semicolon at the end of a statement. Can't do that either. Assigning a double literal to a float literal. Using commas or other currency symbols in numeric literals. Can't do that. I can't type in, if I want to do $60,000, I don't type in 60 comma 000. You have to leave the comma out. The comma is not a numeric value. Periods are, because that's a decimal point. Unintentionally performing an integer division. You can't divide by an integer. Forgetting to group parts of a mathematical expression. Inserting space into a combined assignment operator. Using a variable to receive the results of a calculation. So you can kind of read some of those at your leisure, but again, assigned chapter 2, the assignment is on page 105. It's called Name and Initials. Look at that. If you have any questions, give me a call, shoot me an email. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.